In this short video, I'd like to tell you about the Sales Leadership Judgment Indicator. You know, we've built the Sales Leadership Judgment Indicator on very firm foundations. We built it based upon the thinking and the work of Victor Vroom and colleagues. Victor Vroom, who determined that leaders who ask themselves certain key questions about the people and about the task, and who then gear their style to the way in which they've responded to those questions, tend to have the most profitable, the most effective teams. Now we can go to the literature and we can see that quite clearly. We can see teams that have leaders who subscribe to his thinking. Those teams have greater budgetary success. That retail organisations, retail outlets who have leaders, who have managers who subscribe to his thinking, tend to have more profitable outlets. Indeed, there's much evidence to suggest that leaders who have more participatory approaches tend to have more success. So what did we do? We enlisted the support of Rachel Debenham. Rachel Debenham, who had been WorldCom's Sales Manager of the Year, who had been the UK's Sales Performance Association Sales Trainer of the Year. We enlisted Rachel to go out and to collect scenarios for us, short stories that we could write across our decision-making model. Stories where the most appropriate approach might be directive or consultative or consensual and delegative. She collected scenarios that had very, very high face validity with sales leaders. And then she also supported us in collecting a very large norm group, when all things considered, of 343 sales leaders from 38 countries, 6 continents, age range from 21 to 59, often operating at the most senior levels, at the most strategic levels. We gathered together that reference group, and what do we find? That people within that reference group who are older tend to be more participatory. That was interesting, because that was the sort of finding that Vroom was suggesting is also to be found with those who are most successful. Then we looked at global job grade. What did we find? Those people in the most senior sales positions, and it didn't matter where you looked, in what organisation you looked, the people who had the most senior job grades tended to have more participatory styles. Their wisdom was particularly keen on the participatory side or on the empowering side. They were less orientated to being directive. Directive decision making seemed to be something that was favoured by younger people or less experienced leaders. Now, why do we think that is? Isn't it reasonable to assume that those people had determined throughout their careers, they'd learnt in fact that participatory styles, more empowering styles, got more out of people, got more out of their sales teams? Now look, we would always encourage you to do a local validation study when you use any one of our judgment indicators. But how about this? We got access to 51 sales leaders in a global healthcare company with global assets in North America, Asia and Europe. And we found in year 1 that the greater dollar sales came from those leaders who led in a particular way, who tended to be less orientated towards being autocratic, who were more orientated towards being consensual and participatory. In year 2, a similar pattern emerged. The teams with the greatest dollar sales had leaders who were again less orientated towards the directive, more orientated towards empowering, more orientated and in fact better able to choose when and when not to be delegative. So we warmly recommend the Sales Leadership Judgment Indicator to you to help you in your work in selecting sales leaders who can bring about the most success for you. Indeed, in the words of Chris Wells, writing in the, and Chris is, by the way, a great advocate for the Sales Leadership Judgment Indicator. He was writing in the Institute of Sales and Marketing's Management's magazine Winning Edge, and there he argued that sales professionals who are going to realise their potential, sales professionals who are going to be most successful, are the ones who are going to be best led. And the Sales Leadership Judgment Indicator is a way of ensuring that you put in place leaders who can lead with discernment, who can lead appropriately. And indeed, you can use the Sales Leadership Judgment Indicator to help others improve and develop their sales leadership thinking so that they too can move onwards and upwards. So we warmly recommend the S-LJI to you. Please get in contact and we'll be delighted to talk about how you can use it to best effect.